Hey, what's up, guys? It's BJ Ayin. Welcome to this MYXclusive interview. For today, we have an offshore music artist. They are an experimental hip hop and R&B group that crosses over between a live band sound and an electronica production. They formed the group a few weeks after the pandemic struck, hailing all the way from Cagayan de Oro. Please welcome
Yeah.
Sulo.
Hello.
Hi,
Good
guys.
morning. Thanks for
Good
having us.
morning.
So
Oh,
happy to
it's
be
our
here.
pleasure. Sobrang excited na kaming kilalanin kayo, guys. So let's start with your names first and what your role is in the band. Can you please introduce yourselves one by one? Ikaw na mag-start, Migs.
All right. Good morning, everybody. My name is Mix. I play guitar and I do music production.
Okay, I guess.
Sige, John, ikaw na.
Hey guys, I'm John, and I do the production with my brother. Actually, we're brothers, and we take care of the music production part of our songs and for the album.
And John, sorry, medyo nag-freeze sa akin ng konti. What do you play again in the band aside from, you're in charge of music production?
Aside from the production, I play the keys, but not
Keyboard.
that much. Yeah, more
Alright.
on the production side. Yeah.
Okay. How about you, Louise?
Ano po, songwriter po. Tagasulat po ng kanta sa banda. Yun po.
Oh, so ikaw pala ang may sulat ng mga hits din nyo. Okay. But aside from being a songwriter, meron ka rin bang iba pang role sa band? Kasi I saw you guys perform na rin sa mga videos niyo. Parang you also sing, tama ba?
Konti lang po. Kumakante.
Konti.
Kumakanta din po.
Rap.
Medyo.
Yes, and you also rap. So vocalist then. There you go. Okay, and let's go with Miggy.
So hi guys, I'm Miggy. I'm the main vocals. And nagsusulat din po ako ng kanta.
Okay. Main vocalist and songwriter as well. Okay, it's great to meet you guys and welcome again dito sa inyong first ever MYXclusive interview. And thank you by the way to Migs and John. Alam kong nasa family vacation kayo ngayon. Pero binigyan nyo kami ng time. Oh,
No, we
I love
wouldn't
it.
miss this for the world.
Yeah.
Aww. Pero thank you. Ang
very
ganda nung
excited.
background nyo talagang nature. Ang saya. So for those who want to know pala, where in the Philippines are you right now?
Right now, we're in my best friend's house. We're in Quezon, Bukidnon.
Quezon, Bukidnon. Oh, may Quezon din pala sa Bukidnon, ha?
Yes. We stopped halfway. We're on our way to Davao. And we wanted to make sure that we were here for the interview, so we left. Well, I woke up at like 5:30 this morning to make sure that we could have a good signal for the interview.
Wow! Thank you sa effort and congrats dahil you made it. How about kayo, Louise and Miggy? Nasa naman kayo ngayon?
Sa bahay lang po.
And that would be in CDO ba?
D.O. Carmen.
Sa bahay po.
CDO ka rin, Louise?
CDO din po. Bugo.
Oh, okay. Grabe. So basically, we're doing this interview kahit na nasa Mindanao kayo, no? Tapos ako nasa Luzon. Grabe talaga technology. I love it. Okay. Now, let's talk about how you guys were formed. So, kailan ba nabuo ang Sulo. Sabi nga kanina, sinabi ko sa intro na parang during the pandemic na, no? So, paano nabuo yung Sulo?
So,
Miggy, ikaw na
kasi,
answer that?
kami po ni Luis, yung unang may sinulat po kaming kanta about yung first na kawalan po. Then, nag-send kami ni Kuya Migs. Then, dun na. Siguro mga month of May sa 2020 pa kami nagsimula as a band.
Oh. Pero paano kayo nagkakilala? Like,
Um,
magkakapit-bahay ba kayo?
si Kuya Migs po, may restaurant po siya, tapos may open mic night every Wednesday. So, dun kami nag-meet lahat.
Oh.
Dun
So,
nagsimula.
dahil parang nagpo-perform kayo dun sa open mic nights.
Every Wednesday din. Pagka pandemic na, doon na nagsimula yung nagplano kami ni Luis na mag-suot kaya tayo ng kanta about something or
Oh.
na-bored lang kami.
Uy, pero grabe naman yung una yung release yung Kawalan. Like, it's
Thank you po.
very deep, sobrang serious yung topic, and I think everyone should really listen to it kasi sobrang importante ng mga tinakil yung issues doon. Pero bago tayo mapunta sa Kawalan, doon muna tayo sa, yun nga, yung pagbuo ninyo ng Sulo. So, sabi nyo nga, napagtripan lang, like bored lang kayo, gusto nyo lang bumuo ng banda. So, paano nyo naman na-decide yung like magiging sound ninyo na parang
Si
experimental
Luis
na
dapat,
hip-hop R&B?
Luis should answer that question. Kasi si
Okay.
Luis yung pinakahugot sa amin lahat.
Yeah.
Paano nabuo yung sound? Kasi
Hindi, ang story sa
kami
lyrics.
individually sa lyrics or
Ah.
yung sound, yung story ng paano nabuo yung sound, ganun po.
Yes, sige, go
Kasi
Luis.
individually po kasi may iba't ibang po kami
Style, parang
influences
ganun.
po. Tapos parang pinag-mix ng namin lahat. Trip ko din mag-rap kasi yung Kawalan, isa sa pinakaunang rap na nasulat ko. Ayun, trip ko rin din mag-rap din. Tapos, ayun po, yun po. Parang nag-mix na lahat po. Yung influences namin.
Yes. Sino yung mga influences nyo that you can mention? Kasi parang ako, medyo na-feel ko yung Glock 9 vibe sa pagra-rap mo, Luis eh. Lalo na sa topic
Opo.
na napili. Talagang
Opo.
socially relevant. So, sino ba yung mga influences mo, Luis?
Oo nga ay. Si Glockly talaga pagdating sa rap. Tapos si Looney, Stick Vegas, Ron Henley, yun po, Shanty Dope. Kasi kada sulat ko ng kanta po, may babasihan po ako na rapper po na parang i-emulate bitaw, parang gagayahin po. Parang gano'n.
Oo. To help you, get in the zone na sa pagiging isang performer din, no? Oo. Okay. How about you guys? Sino naman yung mga influences niyo that you think medyo nag-inspire sa sound ng Sulo?
Ako siguro
Miggy mo namin.
ako siguro si Unique Salonga.
Alam mo, buti na lang sinabi mo yan kasi gusto ko na nga itanong. Kasi grabe talaga yung, hindi lang pati sa sound, pati sa itsura, parang yung aura ninyo, yung vibe ninyo. As in, super same. Pati yung nung pinapanood ko yung mga performances ninyo, talagang, ay grabe, magkapatid ba sila ni Unique? So, talaga, influence mo pala talaga siya.
Opo. Parang dun ko na-inspire po ako. Kasi galing niyang ang galing niyang mag-storytelling, kumbaga.
Mm.
Storytelling.
Yes, of course. Unique Salonga, such a talented musician. So aside from Unique, meron ka pa bang ibang mga influences, Miggy?
Kung banda lang ma'am, Muni-Muni.
Oh, yes, Muni Muni. Mm.
Muni-Muni, saka yung Whole Spades siguro.
Four of Spades din. Talaga andun ka no? Okay, sige.
OPM lang. Kung OPM.
Wow! Uy, magandang pakinggan yan Talagang suportahan natin ang OPM. Okay, sa mga nag-change location naman na magkapatid, Migs
Hello,
and
Hi.
sorry.
John. Yes, okay. So,
Sorry, it's
kayo,
so
sino
loud
naman ang
kasi
influences ninyo?
number. Sige, John, go
Okay.
ahead.
For me, I think like the bigger influences I have, at least recently, have been Kendrick Lamar, Childish Gambino, and
Mm-hmm.
mm, Dr. Dre. Like the
Oh.
even though Kendrick Lamar isn't doesn't produce his own music, the style of music that he chooses to make and
Mm-mm.
the tone that he sets in all his music is very is something that until now I still try to um not copy but try to recreate.
Mm-hmm.
So like
Uh,
in Kawalan or Sigwa or even our newer single Ugad Lawin, I try to take from the artists that I'm listening to. So like at that
mm-hmm.
time it was I think it was Kendrick Lamar's To Pimp a Butterfly album and Childish Gambino's uh or no, yeah, it was more on Kendrick Lamar at that time. So I think
Uh-oh.
my influences change almost every month. But for now, like those are still the main ones who I continue to listen to, like
Yes,
maybe every
and
day.
your influences changing occasionally, that's not a bad thing. It just really means that you
Yeah.
listen to different artists and you appreciate various kinds of music. So, pagpatuloy mo yan. Sige, how about you, Migs?
Yeah, for sure. Me naman, I would say more leaning towards old school stuff. Pero I try to stay updated naman with the latest, like Sinaglock 9 and all that. Pero,
Mm-hmm.
I would say for Sulo specifically, not to include my personal preferences, because I have so many, um, almost all genre. Pero
Mm-hmm.
specifically for Sulo, the bands that I try to emulate are um, for our for our OPM side of us. I would say definitely Ellie Buendia music. Another local group that we try to emulate is Kalayo.
Mm-hmm.
Used to be called Pinikpikan. I think that's where we try to anchor our sound, and then somehow we mix it in with more modern sounds of hip hop, like John was saying, and try to kind of find a path that hasn't been taken or a sound that's not so familiar, and try to just
Mm-hmm.
be ourselves with it. And then also, I guess there's also a little bit of Dave Matthews also somehow,
Oh, I love Dave Matthews Band. Actually, yun nga ang galing
especially
sa
live.
sound ng oh yeah, grabe, mas may ano, no, mas may puso. Pero grabe nga talaga na ang galing na mimix nyo sa modern sounds din, yung mga usually yun nga what we would call old school. And you actually mentioned Ellie Buendia and now you're part of Offshore Music, which is, his
Yeah.
baby. So, paano
Yeah.
naman kayo na-sign sa Offshore Music? Can you tell us the story? Like, how were you discovered? Did you approach them? Did you send your demos?
They-
Me.
Well, we were kasi well the background story, our first single, yung Tawalan. Well, like we mentioned earlier, we made it during the pandemic lang, no?
Mm-mm.
And siguro I wouldn't say that we were just bored, but I would say that we're also frustrated
Oh,
um,
yes.
with having to be stuck at home. Like for me, for example, my businesses. We were close for 2 months, and I would say, like, to be completely honest, like, it's a very desperate time also, especially around the month of May,
Ito
na
yung
parang,
restaurant na sinasabi ni Miggy
yes,
kanina
yes,
kung
where we
saan
were
yung
doing it.
open mic nights where you guys met.
Yes, where we all met,
Okay.
yeah.
Mm-mm.
Kasi during the month of May, it was parang the lowest point, I would say. Kasi parang at that point, di ba, it wasn't clear what was going on
Yeah.
in the world.
Mm-mm.
Like, what is this? Like, is this uh gonna get worse or is it gonna get better? So yun, I don't know what caused these two guys, si Luis at si Miggy, to send me to chat me sa Facebook. Kasi we hadn't really spoken to each other since the lockdown.
Oh, okay.
Si Luis basically sent me a group chat sa Facebook with the parang cellphone recording of the song with the verses.
Agad-agad. Wala man lang
Yeah, and
parang intro, ganun. Parang okay, sinend
yeah,
niya agad yung ano niya, song niya, ganun.
yeah, for sure. Well, kasi Luis and I produced one of his songs also a few months before that.
Oh.
Pero totally like during the first few months, I didn't really do any talking to anyone. I was just watching Netflix and watching YouTube
Mm-hmm.
for like. Well, anyway, so what is I talking? Um, so that's where we started chatting about the song, and
Mm-hmm.
then uh, parang as the first line I heard was the first verse that says na araw-araw na lang ba, yan. And then as soon as I heard that, I was like, wow, this is amazing. And I love the
Mm-mm.
way that the melody was developed and the storytelling aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then parang it transitions into the pre-chorus into the chorus na mahirap. It's just really an amazing song. And it is already pretty much complete in terms of composition, in terms of lyrics and melody. And so we're inspired. I was inspired to actually get to work. So it's parang a new chapter. It's the beginning of something. I thought to myself na, if I'm not going to, if I died like today, would I be proud of what I have accomplished in my life? And I was thinking to myself na, I guess music is the one thing that I've always held back, that I've never taken myself seriously about music. Kasi no one in our family are artists, eh. So it's not a common thing
Yeah.
in our family culture. Um,
Mm-mm.
so I was thinking about that. Then I really thought to myself, okay, well, I guess that's really something that I should try to do before the
Yeah.
world ends or before I die. And so, yeah, it turned out really nice. And then my cousin happened to come home during the lockdown, who lives in Manila, who knows Ellie through Audrey. So that's how we kind of had a connection to them, pero not exactly directly. Uh,
Mm-mm.
and then so we finished the song. Since we had so much time on our hands, we decided that, sige, well, since we're releasing a song, let's just shoot a music video.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if you seen the music video, the story.
Yes. Na kayo rin yung umacting doon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm.
My cousin and I, Dan, we wrote the script. We did the costume design and the booking and the production, everything all ourselves. Just the
Mhm.
five of us.
Okay,
And
And then
before,
Kuya Dan also directed other music videos in Manila
like which
before,
ones?
or I
Can
think
you like
he helped shoot
enumerate?
Guiho for
he helped
Apartel.
shape apart.
Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
he helped take some of the shots for that. So and I
Oh,
think also Blue Jean Junkies, he's
yes.
directed and shot those videos.
And then so yun, sorry, I lost track. I lost track. And then so yun, we shot the music video, and then we're so happy na kasi there's that high of like, it's like making a baby na we're to make a baby, and then we release it to the world.
Mhm.
And then a week after, a couple of weeks after, uh, we had nothing to say to each other anymore as a group. Kasi parang that's as far as we, we could visualize it to go. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why we decided now, okay, well, we have something here, something special. Pero if we're going to make this Sulo project keep going, we need guidance. Kasi we're all fairly new to music production, totally
Mm-hmm.
unacquainted with the music industry. Kasi here in Mindanao, it's not really as prosperous. The music industry, parang it's asleep,
Mm.
totally compared to Manila. So yun, so we decided we needed help. And through yun nga, our director, si Dan, he suggested na, well, Eli Buendia is a very, like, his personal endorsement about how Ellie is as a person, very down to earth. And syempre, all the four of us are very familiar with his work. So we decided that, okay, well, if we were to go to a label, then offshore would definitely be the best one to go with. Kasi looking at their roster of artists, parang it's very centered on the music, on the art. And then parang to follow na lang yung marketing, to follow na lang yung promotions. And that philosophy or that culture is something that really resonated with us. And we felt na we can really have the freedom to explore our art and say what we want to say the way we want to.
Mm-hmm.
And so far naman, it's been a really great experience. It's only been a
Yes,
couple of months.
and speaking of saying what you want to say, talagang grabe nasabi niyo talaga yung gusto niyo sabihin sa Kawalan because very
Yeah,
fearless yung lyrics, and this is not something that's usually being sung about sa mga songs, but you guys did it, and as your debut single, no less. So, grabe yung pagpapakilala niyo talaga sa mundo. Pero bago tayo talaga mag-delve deep into Kawalan, speaking of pagpapakilala rin sa mundo, let's explain lang to everyone the meaning behind your band's name. Yung Sulo? Tama ba? Or
yeah,
Sulo?
yeah. Either's fine. Solo or solo.
Okay.
Whatever.
Okay, sige. Let's go with I'll say Sulo na lang kasi I really researched sa dictionary how to say
Mm,
it, and parang yung parang accent talagang andun daw sa second syllable. So Sulo, and there are many definitions. So there's baluktot, pagkasilaw, binti ng hayop, and then there's Sulo, yung may impit, which means pantanglaw, which is like pwedeng torch, anything that gives light. So I want to know
yeah.
like your take on it. Where did the name come from? What does it mean?
Well, the name actually Kuya Miguel came up with it or studied the name kasi when after Luis and Mickey gave him the song, then that's when the group started developing. And when you were thinking of what message we wanted to give to the rest of the world as a band, we came up with being a light to others. Kasi we feel like that is the role that we should be taking, us, the four of us, when we're giving our music out. So like even though Kawalan had a darker tone, and I guess even Sigwa has a darker tone, the message is still at its core supposed to be shining light on whatever darkness that the song is kind of surrounded by. Diba? So
Mm-hmm.
it the meaning is a torch. It's that last example you gave, yeah. So it's
Mm-mm.
supposed to um show light onto those subjects that are a little bit more difficult to talk about, like Kawalan was about suicide, diba? And it was showing a light on how those people who are going through those rougher times, what it's like on their in their perspective, and like why they feel the the urge or the great like emotion to have to go through those things. And
Mm-mm.
it also it's meant to not encourage those feelings, but to help other people understand and yeah, be able to sympathize with those people and empathize with them.
Sakto, ang galing nung nahanap yung ano, word talaga for it, yung sulo, and yun naman talaga yung nakita natin dun sa lyrics ng Kawalan. So now, okay, from sulo, which is being, a torch or being pangtanglaw nga o being the light. Now let's go to Kawalan, which talks about depression, suicide. It tackles a very sensitive issue, and we also heard that it's actually based on a true story. So can you please tell us about this? What inspired you to write Kawalan?
Ay, ano ba yun?
Sige, go,
Nag,
Miggy.
what inspired ko? Ano,
Yes. Mm-mm.
um,
Parang grade school student to me.
doon
What
po
more could you
nagsimula.
say, sir?
De, nagplano po kami ni Luis na magsulat ng something dark, ng message, something dark story. So, timing na may nabalitaan po ako sa radyo.
Mm-hmm.
Naginig po kasi ng radyo yung anay ko.
Mm-hmm.
Doon, nabalitaan namin nga na may nagpakamatay dahil hindi sa COVID pero sa kawalan ng yung walang-wala na po. Doon,
Mm-mm.
doon kami na-inspired na paano kaya kung sulatan natin dito tayo mag-focus sa ito nga story. So, doon po.
Yes. Oo nga. And according to your post also on YouTube, yung nag-suicide is 19 years old lang from
Yes.
your hometown. By the way, what's your hometown pala?
Um,
Cagayan de Oro City.
So talagang CDO City. Okay, there. So,
Mm.
a 19-year-old from CDO City, unfortunately, took his own life because of yun nga, kawalan or financial problems and other struggles that the youth face today. So you wrote a song about it. So what is like your message that you're trying to say dito sa song na to? Kasi grabe talaga eh. It hits right in the spot. Yung
we,
chorus, it goes, mahirap maging mahirap dito sa mundo. Di nyo lang alam. So now with your song, which I think inspires people to start this conversation para malaman na nga nila what people are going through or mas maging aware sila.
Mm.
From your perspective as one of the songwriters, what is your message what's the message that you're trying to convey?
We, we.
Kasi
Me?
parang these
Yes.
boys feel like
Okay,
they're
Migs.
in classes.
Wis,
Go
wis.
ahead, Migs. Sige.
Ano po, parang
Oh, yun.
Oh, oh.
Nawala na si
Yun.
Louise. Oo.
Yeah.
From kawalan
Nawala
na,
na
Sino
sila.
lang
nawala.
na, oh.
Oo, nawala talaga
Ah,
sila. Okay, Migs, ikaw.
Um, well, for me, kasi the way I hear Kawalan is really as a listener, and I'm really a fan of the song. I'm just glad I was able to
Same.
be a part of the production of it. Pero for me, it's really a story of compassion, of being able to be in the mind of a person who's going through extreme depression.
Mm-hmm.
And like it talks about helplessness, about being vulnerable, about being frustrated, anxious. And I feel it's important to have music that's out there that talks about those things,
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to having or listening to all happy songs, which I love happy songs. Pero it's also important to have uh, songs in that context. Kasi it's depression is something that's very hard to deal with. I've gone
Mm-hmm.
through a couple of years where I was going through depression, and it's not something you can really share.
Mm-hmm.
Pero there's something powerful about music or art in general, without saying it directly. you can feel a connection with the song or with the artist. Oh, I guess I'm not the only one who's feeling this way. Um, there are other people out there who understand or who are going through the same thing. Or it's a very comforting thing kasi when I was going through my own season of depression, I really listened to a lot of depressing music, and I felt very comforted by it. I felt very parang I could relate to those things, and it helped me get through um, tough times. So that's why I
Mm-hmm.
really appreciate the song.
Yeah. So, as someone who has gone through it, thank you, by the way, for sharing. I know it's not that easy to admit that to everyone, but yun nga, thank you dahil we have this song now. We also have the music video that really sheds light on this particular topic, this very sensitive topic that I think everyone should be aware of. So, now let's talk about the music video naman. So, how was the shooting like? And ano yung pinaka-concept niya? Can you tell us the story of the music video?
Okay. Well, on the execution side, it was a two-day shoot lang naman. Um, kasi we shot most of it in my place, in our house, and then on the street lang.
In CDO.
Pero, yeah, in CDO.
Okay.
It was kind of challenging because of COVID and the lockdowns. Matter of fact, in the opening scene, there's a policeman there who's giving Mickey the
Yes.
ticket, and
Uh-oh.
I borrowed the vest from a friend, the police vest, and then while we were shooting, we were stopped by a policeman who was telling us that we shouldn't be wearing that vest. So
Oh,
buti na lang
okay.
we were able to get the shot we needed for it. And so anyway, so the about the story of Kawalan, it's two characters. It's Miggy and Luis. And Miggy is takes the character of the person in the song
Mm-hmm.
who is going through a hard time. And actually, there's during COVID, there's so many news about people taking their lives. Like it's not just that one 19-year-old. So
Yeah.
many, even some personal friends of ours. It's so
Mm-hmm.
sad um, to remember now that I'm thinking about it. Pero so Miggy takes the role of the person who uh, uh, helpless kasi parang the last money he had to pay pa to the RTA officer. And then si Luis takes the role of the tricycle driver who in the end takes the doesn't kill himself. And somehow through the story, the two characters meet in the tricycle, and it flashes back and forth between the two who don't personally know each other, pero by coincidence, they're both going through the same difficulty. They're
Mm-hmm.
both thinking about suicide. They're both having difficult circumstances. And then throughout the music video, at the end, si Miggy ends up taking his life. Pero si Luis, at the end, it's not clear, pero at the end of it, he blows the
The
candle and it turns
candle.
into dark.
Yeah.
Uh,
Mm-mm.
so to kind of leave it open, we don't we don't necessarily know what happened to him after that.
Mm-hmm.
We just hope um, na he chose to keep fighting.
Mm-hmm.
And parang yun yung symbolism. Even though we don't see those people who might be touched by the song, or we don't see these people who are going through depression, pero even though you're not seen, at the end of the day, we're still just hoping that you make the right choice to keep fighting the good fight. So that's what we're trying to accomplish. Anyways,
Ganda.
I don't know if it came out that way.
Yeah.
Yes, actually, I got those symbolisms nga. Aside from the blowing of the candle, meron ding newspaper na burning and then it burned out. Like, aside from the candle that went out then by blowing it. Yung isa naman talaga naturally naubos na siya because of the fire. So sana yun nga because nung nawala yung light, nagka-darkness, makinig sila sa Sulo, which is the torch
Yeah.
for everyone. Sana it gives them hope. I hope your songs give them hope. Now, I really also liked that at the end of the music video, there's a message. For those who haven't seen it yet, merong message sa dulo that says, "This song is dedicated to the brave souls battling depression. You are not alone." And meron ding nakalagay na Jesus is the light that leads to life. Tapos you're never alone. And then there are helplines or hotlines para sa mga kailangan ng tulong. So it's such a great music video. I hope everyone
Thank you.
can
Thanks so
check
much.
it out. Just search for it on YouTube, Sulos Kawalan. There you go. Okay, now, let's move on naman sa Sigwa. Okay, so tungkol saan naman ang sigwa? Naku, ni-research ko rin ang ibig sabihin ng sigwa. Kasi napansin ko sa mga songs yung parang wala yung title dun sa lyrics. Like, kawalan, wala namang
Yeah.
word na kawalan dun
Yeah.
sa lyrics, diba? And then, sigwa also. So, yung sigwa naman, I found out it's unos or storm. So, can you tell us what the song is about?
Yes.
So the song is about po siya sa unconditional love.
Mm-hmm.
Yung kahit na anong gawin ng isang girl or yung boy, yung tatanggapin mo pa rin after nung nangyari or something like that. So, I don't know how to mix
Yeah.
sigwa
Yeah.
na word na title.
Well, kasi sigwa, di ba, like you said, it means storm. And the storm represents the struggle that the constant struggle of loving somebody, because it's like seasons, diba? Sometimes it's okay, but there are really going to be storms and struggles that you have when you're loving someone, because sometimes they'll hurt you or you hurt them. So it's about enduring through that storm and making it out with them still, no matter how much. That's why the story is about unconditional love. Whether there are storms or not, you will still in the end you will still love them. Okay, that's what unconditional love is. Whether it's sunny or whether it's stormy, you will still continue.
Yeah. So, storm in a relationship that you'll have to go
Yes.
through and triumph over para kayo pa rin in the end. Wow! So, may love song din pala ang Sulo.
Yeah.
Coming from Kawalan, no? Biglang ito naman yung sophomore single nyo. It really shows like how versatile you guys are. Now, let's talk about this. Isa to sa mga favorites ko, yung Ilaw. Like, I saw you guys perform this lang parang sa isang sit-down video lang online. Tapos,
Yeah.
I loved it. Lalo na yung line na buhay ko ay kinulayan mo. Parang isa na naman sa mga happy songs ninyo. So, please tell us about Ilaw.
So,
And I loved the intro, the guitar intro, ang saya. Ang sarap sa
So-
sa pandinig.
so ilaw po is about
Mix.
sa
Miggy.
relationship between yung son or daughter sa kanyang ina. So yun yung message. Luis.
Kaya ilaw kasi ilaw ng tahanan. Oo. Yes. Sino naman ang nagsulat nito?
Ha.
First verse po ako, then si Luis yung sa verse na kinanta niya. So yun po yun.
Kami po dalawa ni Miggy po.
Oo. It's such a beautiful song. Meron ba kayong plano na gawan to ng music video or something? Naku, lalo na paparating na ang Mother's Day. Wow.
Okay.
Maybe.
Kuya Mix.
Eventually,
Baka naman-
we have actually if kasi just between the two of them, si Luis at si Miggy, they have like a lot of songs written. Then between me and John, there's so many na parang we have to figure out what to do first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well,
that's
we
where,
understand naman. It's really hard to create a music video as well during these
yeah.
times. Now, speaking of ang dami nyo nga songs,
Thank
we
you.
heard that you have an upcoming concept album called Anak ng
Yes.
Bayan. Okay, so
Very
what can you
excited.
tell us about this? Alam kong hindi nyo pa pwedeng i-spoil too much about kung ano yung meron doon. But since it's a concept album, okay, what is the concept about? Ano yung parang pinaka-theme nyo for this album?
Well, from the title Anak ng Bayan, the concept is that we are both placing ourselves through the looking through the lens of what the fight for freedom of the Filipino people was back in like the time of the KKK, and also what the situation of our freedom is now in the modern day, and how things, a comparison and the contrast between things then and now, and how certain things have changed, but um certain things have also been are still the same.
Mhm.
So it's, without giving too much, that's the concept of the album.
So, yung previously released singles nyo ba kasama dito sa Anak ng Bayan?
No, no, no. Our next
Oh.
single though, Pugadlawin, is the what would you call it, the flagship
The
song, or
Carrier
the
single?
climax
Ganon?
of the album. The climax of the album
Oh,
is our
climax.
next single.
Oh, kailan naman lalabas itong Pugadlawin?
I think end of March it'll be released in Spotify. Yeah.
Okay. So, what can you tell us about Pugadlawin naman?
Sige, Luis. He has very heavy verses on that one.
Ooh, sige, go,
Luis
Luis.
can explain it best. I'll go get your earphone. We're gonna dine. Yeah.
Um, Pugadlawin. Para siyang parang tinawag namin yung spirito ni Andres Bonifacio.
Mhm.
Parang ano po siya, parang galit na parang parang alam mo na yung ano po ma'am, yung parang sawang-sawa ka na sa ano po, parang giyera na yung mga ganun po
Mm.
na
Yes. And of
yan po.
course, sa history, no,
Tapos ang
sa school, alam naman natin yung
tapos
Pugadlawin, the cry of Pugadlawin, it was what started the Philippine Revolution. Kind of, parang yun yung sinasabi na talagang nag-trigger sa Philippine Revolution back then, the cry of Pugadlawin. So, dito ba sa song, are you really talking about yung sa history or parang issues of today din ba? Is it something serious like yung nga, sa kawalan na ganong type of sound ba? Ikaw, Luis. Kaya
ano
mo
po?
yan, Luis. Okay. Now, I was
Ano
just
po?
talking
Ano po
about
ma'am?
yung sa
Hindi po
Pugadlawin.
narinig po.
Oo, sige. Tungkol saan yung lyrics na ginawa ninyo for Pugadlawin? I think nagka-cut si Luis. So, nako, eto na, Miggy. Ikaw na ang kailangan mag-explain. Ikaw ang may internet na nag-survive. So, Miggy, please tell us
Aside,
about Pugadlawin. Kahit na hindi pa siya nare-release, what can you tell us about it?
um, it's like, ano po, hindi ko talaga masyadong ma-explain, pero sa understanding ko lang,
Mm-hmm.
it's about anong nangyari noon, nung time ni Andres Bonifacio. Ganyan na. Hindi ko
Oh.
pwede ma-spoil na. Yung
Okay.
mix.
So, yun talaga, yung kanina ring
Ah,
sinabi ni John, which is like the concept of the album. Parang ano yung mga nangyayari before na
na
baka nangyayari
parang,
pa rin hanggang ngayon. Oo.
yes. Yes po.
Oh, okay. Sige, abangan namin yan, end of March. How about yung debut album ninyo na Anak ng Bayan? When can we expect it to drop this 2021?
Well, we're hoping naman to be able to release it sometime mid this year,
Mhm.
June.
Oh, so mid 2021. Abangan namin yan. Okay.
Kasi
All
we
right.
really want
So,
to go.
mhm.
Yeah.
You really want
For
to
us
what? Sorry.
we want to perform the album in
Ah.
Manila.
Mm-mm. Yes, and we would love to hear you perform live as well, for sure. Ang dami mga nag-aabang na ngayon pa nga lang sa comments. Parang ang dami na talagang mga Sulo fans na nakatutok ngayon. Okay, so speaking of the fans, ano yung message yun naman sa mga fans ninyo na naghihintay na nga sa inyong album at dun sa mga nakapakinig na sa inyong mga songs and loved them?
Ang buntag, mga gaw.
Yung mga daw.
Dahil nangyapon tag pamina sa mga pinapos na.
Yes.
So, pamina po di ko. Kabayan.
Medyo humina yung audio ninyo, Migs and John. Oo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yan!
That's
Ang
better.
lakas na. Okay, yes.
No,
Can you
I
say your
said,
message one more time? Okay, go ahead.
may buntag, mga igsoon diyan. Ako mga brand, mga gaw. Punta ka nang malingaw mo sa among interview dito sa Mix. And then, padayan yapon sa pag-suporta sa atong local music.
Thanks, guys.
Yay! Okay, sa mga katulad ko na hindi masyado naintindihan yan, can you please translate? Ano naman yung message nyo sa mga fans nyo na mga yung mga taga dito, ganyan. Yung mga hindi naman nagbibisaya. Was that Bisaya? Sorry?
Yeah.
Yes, okay.
Translate daw, guys. Translate.
Well, basically, wanna say hello to all the Mix fans.
Wow.
Number one, for us, it's such a huge treat to be from Mindanao and to be able to be on this platform. It's a
Yeah.
special thing. And so we were so excited when we found out about the interview. Thank you,
Thank you.
IE. And we hope that you guys can check out our social media and our music on Spotify. Check out our music video on YouTube. We're really pouring our heart and soul into this project, especially the past few months. And we hope na ma-appreciate nyo naman na sana yung effort namin could be put to good use somehow.
Of course. And it's our pleasure to have you here. Maraming salamat din. So, ano yung mga social media handles ninyo? Para pwede nila kayong i-follow dun sa mga, baka ngayon pa lang kayo nakikilala. Where can they follow you?
On Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, our handle is sulo.cbo, so SULO.cbo.
Spotify is just
Yes. Proudly talaga na from Cagayan de Oro. I love it. Talagang linagay nyo pa sa social media handles niyo. So, thank you so much for sharing with us some of your time. Lalo na kayo, Migs and John, na talagang nasa family vacation papuntang Davao. Nag-stop muna kayo sa Bukidnon for this interview. We really appreciate it. But hopefully, we can have the four of you in person sa Mix Studio pag tapos na ang lahat ng itong pinagdadaanan natin at medyo back to normal na tayo. But we'll be waiting for you and you have amazing songs. Please continue on writing more songs and abangan namin ang inyong next na single, Pugad Lawin. Once again, guys, sa end of March, lalabas yan. And also their upcoming debut concept album, mid-2021, mga bandang June or July daw. Abangan natin yan. But for now, that's all the time that we have with Sulo. So maraming salamat once again, Miggy, Louise, Migs, and John for joining us and for telling us all about your music, about Sulo, and everything else. Maraming salamat. Okay, but once again, I am BJ IE for this exclusive interview with Sulo. Thank you!